Hello guys and welcome back to Gcor Unlimited Racing 2D2, and today we're here at Hockenheim for the 8th round of the championship. If you missed last round, it was at Monza. Lewis Hamilton dominated, getting pole, getting fastest lap and bringing home the race victory for the Tifosi. They went wild, extending his championship lead over George Russell. Kimi Antonelli had a decent weekend last time out, as he sits third in the driver's standings with Charles Leclerc ahead of Max Verstappen. Isaac Hadjar fighting with Colapinto. Colapinto actually got on the podium last time out, with Soilov, Cameron, Mini finishing off the top 10. Frederick Vesti 11th, with Doohan 12th, Crawford 13th, Aaron 14th. 1 point separates Lawson and Latifi, with a further 3 points back to Beganovic. Mazepin, Norris and Doohan round off the standings. Constructors wise, this is how it looks. Ferrari on the verge of getting 300 points. That will happen this week unless something catastrophic happens. Mercedes there, comfortable in P2. I wouldn't say too comfortable. I mean, 14 points is still, it's still quite a small gap team-wise. Alpine have jumped Red Bull into third, with McLaren 5th, fighting with Williams. Audi are still there. Aston Martin starting to lose some ground with VCarb and Haas at the back. Anyways, let's get into it. Hockenheim. Very excited to return back to Hockenheim. And yeah, let's get underway. Let's get underway for qualifying on the German Grand Prix. Max Verstappen, he definitely has a big point to prove. I mean, he started off the season so well. Second, I think it was a podium in the 3 out of the first 4 races. Since then, it's just falling downhill for him. Antonelli though, trying to show people what he can do. Ferrari don't really have the pace today. McLaren have bought another upgrade. This time, the upgrade being an acceleration upgrade. Who's going to get pole? Max. Will it be Max? Will it be Charles? It's Charles. Charles pips Max Verstappen to pole position. And Charles Leclerc makes that, what's that? 4 poles in 5 races. Charles Leclerc bags pole position. Max Verstappen, P2. Definitely very, very important. Kimi Antonelli, P3. Isaac Hadjar beating his more experienced teammate, as Hamilton could only muster up a 6th place, with George Russell splitting both Ferraris. Colapinto 7th, Soilov 8th, Mini 9th and Lando getting into the top 10. What an effort. Beganovic P11, Cameron and Vesti next to each other, with both Aaron and Doohan next to each other. Alex Doohan P16, both Hasses on the 9th row. Crawford 19th, poor session from him, and Liam Lawson starting last. What a lap from Charles Leclerc. Who's on inters? Who's on wets? It looks like everyone's on intermediates. Obviously, that was a big mistake Max Verstappen made at Coda. He was one of the few to start on wets. I think it was 1 of 2 or 1 of 3 start on wets. Further back, Isaac Hadjar has managed to get into P3 now. Max trying to move. No, you can't make it. Colapinto now fighting for P3. He's in very good form. Charles Leclerc, he knows this could be a chance. This could be anyone's chance to win a race, especially with Lewis Hamilton having a bad weekend. Hamilton's fading. P7, he's fallen to. P8, make that. Up at the front though, Colapinto dives down the inside of Max Verstappen. Super aggressive from the Argentine. Max Verstappen gets him back. George Russell expects him to box, as that car is not in good shape. Lewis Hamilton, his car is damaged too. His car is in even worse shape. Hamilton's having a Grand Prix to forget. But Hamilton gets saved, as everyone's going to box now for dries. Mediums it is for Leclerc, hards for Max, mediums for George, medium for Franco, hards for Lewis. Camera's actually on the soft, so Hamilton's managed to make up a couple positions in the pit stop phase. Antonelli's the big loser out of all of that, losing a lot of positions. But Hamilton's he's been saved a little bit. He can't lose out to Camera though, otherwise that will hurt him. And that's exactly what happens. Camera gets past Hamilton. Hamilton does not want to be fighting the likes of Camera, because they're on different strategies. Charles Leclerc though, he knows today could be an important day. With Hamilton, like I said before, with Hamilton far down on the track. This could be someone's day to get a first win. Could it be Leclerc's first win? Could it be Verstappen's first win? Verstappen, he's had such bad luck and he's in such bad form. But this would mean so much to him and the whole Red Bull team. Or can George Russell get a second race victory? Honestly, anything can happen, and still, don't even count out Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's there just being smart, saving his tyres. Up at the front, George Russell's managed to get past Max Verstappen. He's going to have a look. Max is still going to have a look. Down the inside, Max sends it on George. Good move. Hamilton gets past Camera. Camera's tyres are starting to fade now. They're starting to die. Although Camera's top speed, he gets Hamilton. Very good move. Very aggressive from Camera. P2 and P3 now have managed to catch up to Leclerc. Did Leclerc make a mistake? Did Charles Leclerc make a mistake? Because that gap is now closed. Leclerc, Verstappen, Russell. That's how it is. Camera's in. Colapinto follows in P4 with Hamilton P5. Today, it's just damage limitation for Lewis Hamilton. For his sake and for Ferrari's sake, we've got to hope that it's a one-off. George is going to have a look. No, George goes wide. But that becomes inside line for the next corner. But no, George can't do anything. Expect George and Charles to box. Charles stays out. Does George box? George boxes. Charles stays out. Max Verstappen will be quicker this lap. However, Rain, George's box for wets, but I think it's too early. Hamilton, surely he'll get Colapinto this lap. It's very important. Hamilton needs to get Colapinto with driver's box. I think it's too early to box. I don't know. I think it's too early to box. Leclerc, Verstappen, this is the perfect time to box this one. Hamilton could not get past Colapinto. Russell's in. Leclerc and Verstappen extend their gap over George. In fact, falls into the clutches of Colapinto. Hamilton down the inside. They touch a little bit, but Hamilton manages to make the move stick. To be fair, that was perfect timing for Leclerc, Verstappen, Colapinto and Hamilton. Russell now has lost touch with the top boys. Verstappen and Leclerc. Verstappen round the outside. Can he manage to make the move stick? Verstappen's still gonna try and bring his Red Bull, which now becomes the inside for the next corner. Leclerc fights him off. McLaren fights him off. Very good fighting from the top boys. Jack Crawford's having another race weekend to forget. A lot of rumours around his seat. Further back, Aston Martin P7 and P8. Doohan forces Aaron off the track. Jeez. Norris though, P9. He's going to get a nosebleed with how high he is in the field. Leclerc will stay out. It's too early to box for any other tyre, even though rain will be stopping any time now, any second now in fact. The track is still too damp. The track is still too wet. Hamilton though now has his sight on George Russell. Hamilton wants that P3. Hamilton round the outside. George uses his R's. Verstappen though, about 1 second between himself and Leclerc as the leaders now start to catch up to the back markers. Russell does not bother, Crawford does not bother Russell. However, Crawford bothers Hamilton, and Hamilton gets past Colapinto. Hamilton gets past Colapinto quickly. After Colapinto passed him, sorry. It's 3 abreast, going into the hairpin. Hamilton comes out on top. And that's crucial, because the drivers will be boxing now for drives. Surely they'll be boxing now. Leclerc stays out. Verstappen stays out. Hamilton, will he box? Surely he'll box. No, he stays out too. So everybody stays out. I thought a couple of drivers would box for drives, but no, it's actually the Aston Martin boys who are boxing for the drives. George's tyres are finished. I don't know why he didn't box. George now is going to be a long day for George. However, now at the top, at the front, one more lap to go. Charles Leclerc versus Max Verstappen. Max wants this race win. It's been a difficult last 3 races for Max. Max gets the move. Leclerc's not going to give up there though at the hairpin. Charles going to try and make the move. No, he can't make it stick. Max Verstappen though, his tyres are worn. Leclerc's tyres are worn too. Max Verstappen though, only the stadium section to manoeuvre. Can he manage to get the win? Max Verstappen's head, he's been pushed, but he's going to survive. Max Verstappen wins at Hockenheim. After a difficult time for the Dutchman, he wins. Leclerc P2, Hamilton P3, Colapinto another great result P4. Russell, is he gonna get P5? No! P5 goes to Duran, Aaron P6, Russell falls down to P7, Antonelli P8, Hajar P9, Lando Norris P10, he's going to be gassed with that result. Soilov P11, Mini P12, Vessi P13, Kamara P14, Dune P15, Lawson P16, Beganovic P17, Latifi P18, Mazepin P19, with Crawford finishing down in last. But Max Verstappen finally, this feels very long overdue, wins. He wins a Grand Prix. Leclerc has to wait even longer for his first Grand Prix win, but it's coming soon. Lewis Hamilton back on the podium. It was looking like a long day for him at one stage, running down in P8, but Lewis, being the driver he is, being the championship leader that he is, managed to come out of that sticky situation. But Aston Martin, I think they're going to be the happiest out of everyone. Aston Martin P5, P6, what a result. And also shout out to Lando Norris, P10 for himself. Championship wise, it looks like this. Russell actually loses ground to Lewis Hamilton, even though this is the first time in 4 races that Hamilton hasn't won. Antonelli now on the same amount of points as Charles Leclerc, with Max Verstappen a further 2 points back. That fight for P3 is close, and don't even count any of these guys out for the championship, although it must be said time is running thin. Colapinto another very good result for him. Hajar P7, Soilov, Mini and Camera rounding off the top 10 with doing a point back from the top 10, and Aaron another good result for him. Vessi on the same amount of points as Aaron, with Crawford further back. A horrible race weekend for him. Liam Lawson 3 points ahead of Latifi, who's on the same points as Lando, with Beganovic, Mazepin and Dune rounding off the top 20, the 20 drivers. Ferrari still have a healthy lead over Mercedes. Red Bull now are back in P3 ahead of Alpine, and I mean, it wasn't the best weekend for Mercedes. They lost a few points. McLaren, what could have been today, but Leclerc is doing McLaren a world of good, man. 16 points ahead of Williams they are, with Audi and Aston further back. Remember I said Aston were beginning to lose touch. That result for Aston's put them right back in that fight for P5, with Gcor beginning to make a gap over Haas. However, Efrock's job is still at risk. Next up, we go to the home of motorsport, Silverstone. Cannot wait for that. Then we have Portimao. Then we have the final 2 races in the Latin-speaking countries. One in Spain at Valencia, and one in Interlagos in Brazil. So definitely be sure to be there as we round off the season. Thank you for being with me, and goodbye.